morning and welcome. Patriot Radio News Hour. Joe and Jason. And what can I tell you but happy Monday. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. Wow. There is so much happening. So many rumors and innuendos and everything else that I can possibly imagine that we need to talk about. We had very, very violent moves in the silver market while we were away. By the way, this is another short week. So we'll be here. Jason, have we really decided? What do we do? Monday? I know we'll be here today, tomorrow.
Wednesday's been kind of up in the air. We haven't really quite decided Wednesday yet.
Right now, I'm leaning towards we'll be here Wednesday.
Yeah, me too.
We will not be here Thursday. I'll let you know about Friday. I don't know. Listen, there's so much happening when we think about what's going on. Silver hit a high of $83.50. Insane. Was up $7 or $8 Friday.
$7.42. $7. What I got was $7.42.
And, of course, we warned you. Now, today, a big down day. This is I don't know about plan, but the COMEX let it be known this weekend after the big move on Friday. Margin requirements were going to go up. And I know a lot of people get mad and say, well, they're controlling the price. And obviously, yes. What is the purpose of doing that? Keep the speculators out. What does that mean for people? For a lot of you, you're like, I don't even know what are you talking about? So just think about gold and silver contracts, okay? How do we get, and it doesn't matter, pick the commodity. How do we get the price, what we call the spot price or the paper price? They set a weight and a price. So in gold, a gold contract, 400 ounces. A silver contract, 1,000 ounces. And then they give delivery dates. So as I've educated you guys, when we look at gold, the delivery date is February. So this is what we would say is a February contract. Silver, it's September. What they allow to happen in the paper markets is for a percentage, 400 ounces of gold, 1,000 ounces of silver, you can control the entire contract. So in other words, hey, I want a February gold contract. Okay, and I'm right now the February gold contract is $4,350. Okay, let's say that $4,350 is the contract price. Well, you don't have to come up with $4,350 times 400 to control 400 ounces. You pay a small percentage to control the entire contract. Same goes with silver. 1,000-ounce silver contract. Maybe you have to pay 10%. 10% gets you full control of 1,000 ounces of silver or 400 ounces of gold. What happens when the price, and they do it, by the way, in either direction, just to be fair, okay? So when the price makes huge moves upwards, the COMEX, now remember the COMEX, that is paper contracts, right? London is spot. I know it's a little different, okay? But these paper contracts, what they'll tell people is, okay, guys, you know what? When you bought this silver contract, let's focus on silver. Let's just say it was November. Maybe it was October, August. You bought X amount of silver contracts. Well, when you bought those contracts, silver was in the 50s. Right? And you put 10% down. Well, now silver's in the 70s. Heck, hit $83. You know what? We're going to raise the requirement. And that's what's happening today. So all of these people that had bought, and let's just focus on the March silver contracts, no matter when they bought them. Heck, they could have bought them a year ago. Because you can buy way out into the future if you like. How great of a move would that have been? Could you imagine? Hey, I bought a silver contract a year ago at $28 an ounce. Well, guess what? All of those people had two choices today. Either give them more money or sell your contract. That was and by the way, it was 25% more money. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592, Patriot Radio News Hour. Hopefully that wasn't too difficult for all of you to understand, but the reason they raised the margin requirements is because the price of silver and gold went way up. And so they're like, hey, it's not fair. You know, you're controlling 1,000 ounces of silver or 400 ounces of gold for not a whole lot of money. So everybody today, you had two choices today. Obviously, if you want physical delivery, you pay, right? You just pay it, right? Yeah, okay, doesn't matter. I'm taking delivery. But for the paper guys, and it doesn't matter. I'm talking about the March. Listen, after March, there's a June contract, right? It's not like this. There's contracts. You can buy a silver contract 3 years from now if you want. Any contract that's out there today, you had to pay, and it was a lot more. 25%, that's a lot. But the price moved a lot. In any event, now there's a lot of speculation. We're going to get to all this speculation because there was a ton of it this weekend. But let's just take a quick look at the market in general. The Dow's down 250, the Nasdaq's down 30. The S&P's down 30, the Nasdaq's down 160. The 10-year note 412. Crude oil is up, but it's only at $58. And then when we look at the currency market, the yen strengthened slightly today. Remember, we're all eyes on the yen right now. But gold and silver, here's what we've got. Gold's down 190. You heard me right. 190. 43.34. Silver's down over $7. 750. 71.70. 71.75, right in that area. After both gold and silver hit new record highs right before I went to bed last night. Gold and silver hit new all-time record highs. Having said that, a lot of people, I'll put myself in this camp, this is probably a good buying opportunity. Some people will look at this as, oh, here we go, okay, right? Yeah, we've seen this game before, right? You know, silver went to $50 and never saw the light of day again, right? Went all the way back down to like $14, right? Gold went to 1900, went back to 1,050. You know, are we in this replay of what I'll call the financial crisis replay? Probably not. And let me tell you why. Well, actually, I can. If I was to put a number on it, there's a 90% chance that is not the situation. I guess 10%, and I may be generous with the 10. But here's what we were hearing over the weekend. So remember Friday, as I told you, we weren't here. Silver shot up like a cannon. Got to almost $80, $79 in change when it closed. And then you started to hear reports, two different reports. One is that a too big to fail bank was on the wrong side of the silver trade. Now, this is something, remember, you know, last week I was talking about, you know what we haven't heard? Right? Who is anybody getting caught on the wrong side of the silver trade and all this stuff? And the reason why they said it, so they said, hey, there's a too big to fail bank on the wrong side of the silver trade, and so wrong that essentially the bank was going to go under. None of the banks would lend them anything. There was a big jump, and this is where the speculation came from. Friday, now, remember we've been talking about reverse repo, right? That's good. Repo market bad when it comes to banks, right? Reverse repo, when they have money in the reverse repo, that means banks have extra money at the end of the day. Lots of it, right? And they leave it at the Fed, and the Fed pays them to do it. Repo means I'm short. And oh, by the way, none of the other banks will give me any money, which is kind of weird because all banks have treasury collateral. Why would you not take treasury collateral? Well, because they're like, well, yeah, no, because your balance sheet sucks. And I know, you know what, you were on the wrong side of this or that or blah, blah, blah. You're insolvent. I'm not loaning you crap. Then they've got to have the Fed lend. Now, when the Fed does this, they don't tell us. This is another, again, if you actually thought the Federal Reserve was here for you, how stupid are we? Wouldn't you think, hey, if they're for, hey, by the way, guys, I don't care what you do, but your bank's at the Fed window today. Right? Which, obviously, why don't they tell you? Why don't they here's why they say they don't. Well, we don't tell you because you may go take your money out if you knew your bank was in trouble, right? Which would then certainly cause it to go under, right? You know, that's the logic behind it. There was a big jump in the repo facility on Friday. Now, some people are trying to put the two together, right? The big, and I mean, man, when you think about last week, wow, what a ride.
Oh, yeah.
Silver went on. You got to remember, silver was in the 60s last week and finished like at 80.
79.33 on Friday.
Right? You know, right? Yeah. I don't know that you can put those two things together. It's a good story. It's possible. It could be right. We're never going to know it. But that was one of the stories that broke over the weekend. That a too big to fail bank was on the wrong side of the silver trade and was going to default, was unable to make delivery, and had to go to the Fed repo window.
That's what I heard.
Right? That was out there. I don't know. Why? Why don't I know? Because they won't tell you anyway. I can verify that, yes, the repo facility saw a big jump on Friday. And by the way, it's going to jump today, tomorrow. It's the end of the year and end of the month. I don't know.
I thought the idea was this bank had till Sunday morning to cover. Was that the other thing?
That was what they were saying. They had till Sunday morning to cover. And again, is that why the borrowing occurred on Friday versus waiting a couple of days to borrow with all the other banks, right? That's kind of like the story. Why did you borrow so much? Because it was only, Friday was still only what? The 26th, right? You didn't need that money yet. I don't know. My guess is, this is just me guessing, that's part of the reason. And it may be a lot of commodities. It may be a lot of different things. The auctions last week were terrible. Foreign participation gone. You know that foreigners now only own 14% of U.S. debt? That's it. That's what it's down to.
Yeah.
Crazy. That number used to be 40%.
Yeah, well, shows you that there's a lot of domestic owners of that stuff, and most of those being these mega banks underneath the central bank.
Yeah. So that was story number one. Story number two. And this is a person that does a bunch of podcasts, follows the silver market very closely. He's got some good information. Okay, I'll say that. He said HSBC, which, by the way, that's a too big to fail bank. I don't know that they would be at our repo facility per se. They can be there. They can. This is something a lot of us, this is something I worry about, which is a lot of silver has been borrowed. We talk about lease rates on silver, by the way, through the roof. There has been two things reported. Number one, banks were asking for extensions on silver already leased. So when you lease silver, let's say you have it, the other guy doesn't, he needs it, you lend it to him. There's a time frame for you to pay it back. The lease rates, banks were asking for extensions. In other words, hey, I borrowed, and whatever it is, hey, I borrowed 1 million ounces of silver from you. I know I'm supposed to pay it back today. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Can I get an extension on the lease? Word is that the lease extensions have been turned down, that they are not allowing. So that tells you that there is either whoever you leased it from needs it back, or they no longer have faith that the amount of silver allegedly left in the vaults is still there. And the story broke that one of HSBC's vaults that was supposed to have over 4.3 million ounces of silver in it
was empty. Yeah, that's not good.
That is not good.
What do they call that? An inventory discrepancy? Is that the nice way?
Yes, that would be a kind word. But there is a story circulating that multiple vaults have what they are calling an inventory discrepancy, and that certain players in the silver market are now making moves to remove their physical silver from the vaults in London. We're back here, Patriot Radio News Hour. Sorry about that. We got a lot going on. 800-951-0592 is our toll-free number. We're talking about, and we're really focusing in on silver now. Obviously, the margin requirements, is it coincidence that both of these things have? Here's what we know. We definitely know somebody was at the repo facility for big money at an unscheduled time. Okay? So people are borrowing from the repo facility every day, and then Friday it really jumped up. And normally we wouldn't expect it to jump up till tomorrow.
And Elon Musk started talking about it.
Well, Elon did talk about it. Elon was like, this is not good, right? And, of course, just so you know, to give you an idea, a Tesla car, it's about an ounce of silver. Some use a little more, some use a little less, but on there, about an ounce. Well, that ounce cost them $50 more than it did a year ago. Right? Well, that's an extra $50 on a car. And, of course, everyone's talking about it going even more than this, right? We know somebody was at the repo facility for a lot of money unscheduled. That's problem number one. Is it tied to silver? Don't know. The story about HSBC Bank is concerning. This is something that a lot of people have worried about for a very, very long time. Here's the thing. It doesn't even have to be true. If enough people get worried enough that they either A, stop leasing their silver, or B, you know what? I want my silver out of your vaults just because I just want to be safe. That's going to be a huge problem. Is it coincidence that the COMEX said, hey, Monday we're raising the requirement? In other words, forcing a down day to allow for certain people that were maybe short silver to be able to fix their silver problem. I don't know. Some people were speculating that certain banks were willing to pay 15% above spot to get their hands on physical silver. And, of course, I kind of look at the move from the top to the bottom. Well, gosh, we got to 83.50, and now we're down near $72. Huh. Right? Now, all of a sudden, they're essentially could fill it at spot, right? Because, hey, I'll pay you $83 for it, even though it's now 70-something, versus paying $90-something for it at $80-something. I don't know, Jason.
There's a lot of pushing to try to get that silver price down on the West, and on the East, it's like how much can they push it up? I mean, Shanghai keeps pushing the price. So, is this a temporary relief for the cancer of higher silver prices for the West, right, Joe? Or is this going to be, hey, we've got a hold of this bull finally, and we're going to slow it down? And I can't tell. I mean, until we saw this big, huge down day today, this didn't look nothing like the silver rises in the past. I tend to think, if I had to say it, I think this is going to be short-lived, and you're going to start seeing silver just come right back and start pushing those highs again. But we don't make the laws, right, Joe? We're not the money magicians that change the rules. Right? You know, anything can happen once the guys that are in government and the guys who have bought the government decide to change the rules. You know, and it's scary. I like seeing silver moving up and gold moving up the last couple of years, but when you see $7.42 on Friday and now it's coming back almost $8 today, it's hard. Joe and I hardly even know how to price stuff to figure out how we're not going to lose our shirts if we have a big seller come in and then we can't get that stuff sold in time, right, Joe?
Yeah, it's a scary market. I will tell you this, the price varies by the second now. Here is one thing I do want people to know. Silver premiums, big jump again today. Also, there are no U.S. Silver Eagles in stock anywhere we've looked. And we've been around a long time. We got big connections. Right now, U.S. Silver Eagles, I'm telling everybody, February. I can book them, and I can lock them. I just can't get them. Now, if you want U.S. Silver Eagles, you need to pay for them in orderly fashion. Do you have to run down here and pay me today? No, but you got to get a check in the mail. You got to pay. If I can get them to you sooner, I absolutely will. Like I said, I've been around a long time. Patriot's been around 30 years. I could have a guy call right now, 5 minutes from now, a day from now, a week from now, and say, I want to sell 10 cases of Silver Eagles, 20 cases of Silver Eagles, whatever it may be. And I'll have Silver Eagles. Right now, nobody is doing that. I will tell you today, every call I've gotten today has to do with buying silver. So I'm just letting you know the silver is disappearing once again. Another interesting thing. Wow, the price goes down $7, $8, and all of a sudden, we can't. 800-951-0592. do we have a silver crisis brewing? I don't know. Potentially, it looks like we may. If any of these rumors are even remotely true, we've got a problem. We already know we've got another supply deficit. This year it was huge. Next year, we already know next year. Let me short another 120 million ounces. The availability is diminishing. Now, today we come in, and I tell you, I got none. Can't get any. All I can do is pre-book 2026 U.S. Silver Eagles. That's all I can do. And then you got to wait. I don't know how long that will be an option. Why? Well, because the mint closes, they mint a whole bunch, and then they sell them. I will say one of the places I looked today to try to find silver stopped taking orders for 2026 and essentially said, well, we knew we were going to get this many. They're already sold. And when we called the mint, we didn't get a good answer. In other words, the mint couldn't tell them, oh, okay, well, you'll get your next shipment, mid-February. They were like, we don't know. We'll get back to you. When it comes to other forms of silver, let's talk about junk silver. 3 weeks ago, we were selling junk silver below melt. Remember? Not anymore. Not anymore. The premiums for junk silver are all of a sudden making a comeback. And when you can't get silver eagles, then people start going, well, what else can I get? Well, you get junk silver, you get rounds, you can get bars. And Jason, today, lo and behold, the premiums on all silver went higher. Miraculously. And oh, by the way, you can't get some, and we'll see. I don't know how long. Here's the good news. The first round of 2026 Silver Eagles should ship within, let's say, 2.5 weeks. The problem is it looks like demand, which has been off here in the U.S., all of a sudden, Jason, and Jason and I have seen it here in the last few weeks, all of a sudden we got a lot more people buying silver, and all of a sudden there is none now. And now premiums are starting to come back. We'll go day by day. We don't know. Again, anybody could call. But the news that came out this weekend, not very good in an already extremely tight market. I think the one that I would say gives me the most pause would definitely be if they have a cover-up potentially going on with the actual amount of physical silver that may or may not be there. If, HSBC really doesn't have millions of ounces of silver that they thought they did. Jason, I view that bigger than a too-big-to-fail bank, because believe me, if it's a too-big-to-fail bank, they're going to make sure we never find out.
Right. It is getting harder to predict where silver is going to end up month to month, year to year. And 2026 is going to be very difficult. I've seen that J.P. Morgan Chase is going to take their large position and sit on it and push the price to the moon. And I've seen, since they own this huge position, they're going to save the economic system by hey, we're going to get a reprieve for all the silver buyers, the industrial buyers that need it, and we'll just start selling large amounts to keep the price down. So it's hard to tell exactly where it's going. It is definitely not 1980, and it's definitely not 2011. So, it's. I don't think you're going to lose by buying silver right now, but it's going to be I think it's a rocky road. I think we've been shown through Christmas break, it's going to be a rocky road, Joe. We're going to see some. What I like about what happened Friday is Joe has been saying for a couple of months, will silver end closer to 100 or closer to 50 at the end of the year? And we're still looking, I think, closer to that 100. And I mentioned that we would probably start to see days where we would have near or at 10% rises in the silver price, which we hit also on Friday. On Friday, both of those things happened. And then Monday comes, and it just takes a big, huge bite with all the things that Joe is talking about that could be possible. So this is what you see when you have dramatic rises in markets. When you hear these guys talk about $300 silver or $1,000 silver, well, it ain't gonna look smooth like it's been going up the last year, Joe. It's gonna look like it's looked like the last week. That's what it's gonna look like if it goes up dramatically.
Yeah, volatility is here. And again, like I said, I think I can't even tell you for certainty how do you want to guess what's going to happen tomorrow? I don't know. I truly don't know. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Patriot Radio News Hour. Final segment. Again, it has been a very turbulent time since we were last on. The funny thing is the silver is I think actually still a little higher than what we were last on, right near it. Silver 71. So look at this, okay, 72 and a quarter now. So now I can definitely tell you silver is actually a little higher than the last time we were on.
Yes. It went up on Wednesday and it went up on Friday.
Friday, yeah, both. And here's what I do know. $20 gold pieces, they are absolutely on sale right now. 55, 25, 55. What am I saying? I'm just losing it, Jason. 45, 25. Sorry. Foreshadowing.
It's 2026, Joe, popped out just for a second.
Yes, that's right. That probably, good point. Tell you what, you buy 20 or more, $4,500 on a $20 gold pieces. Silver prices, call me. And we'll give them to you when you call it. I don't even listen, silver just jumped 50 cents in like 3 seconds. Now 72.35. Here we go. I don't know what is going to happen inventory-wise. It is a perfect storm. It is December, so the mint right now isn't producing anything, right? They're making 2026s. Somehow everything disappeared. Right now, if you said, hey, what's the best buy in silver? It's still utility silver, junk silver, still the best price per ounce, followed by the bars. But I get it. You want those eagles. 6 weeks. It may be less. If I can get them to you sooner, I will. But right now, 6 weeks at 800-951-0592. The problem is waiting, right? By the way, don't call. You know the rules, guys. If I lock it with you, you're getting them. I don't know what the price is going to be. My fear is 6 weeks, you're going to see $100 silver. That's my fear. And I know some of you are like, well, gosh, I don't want to have to pay and wait. That's Joe, that's not what we do. You're right. But it's how we're doing it today. I don't know, Jason. I obviously, silver, I think, will be volatile for the rest of this week, getting into the new year. And then we're going to have to see these rumors that came out this weekend. Are they just that? Are they just rumors? Or is there something actually behind it? I know a lot of people are saying that you could see $200 silver in the next 90 days. And you would. If either of these rumors were true or any truth to it, we will. But I don't know, right? I don't know. All I know is we're going to have another year of silver deficit, which is going to continue